Hello everyone and welcome to Delirious Demo episode 14. Today we'll be showing you the demo of Torchlight 2. So, first of all I must say, I really like the menu. I mean, you usually see a lot of those menus which just gives you a few buttons, like new game, load, options. And while those things are necessary in a menu, I also like this way to set it up. So we have just a bit of a background coverage in here. We have the credits, which are right over here. We have the cinematics, which of course we can use too. We watch everything which we've seen. We have the exit button right here and the new game button. But first we'll be looking at the settings. Now, the video settings are a bit normal. Not really expanded, but a few basic things. I mean, you can choose full screen, windowed, full screen. This is something which I really like. You can select the resolution, but I myself play in a dual screen setup, and I can choose the monitor right from in the game. Normally, if I want to change monitor, then of course everything starts in primary monitor. But if I decide to switch things up a bit and use my secondary monitor, then I need to go to windowed, I need to drag it to the other side and then go back to full screen. And some games this is no problem. Some games will not go out of full screen, so you can't really move them. And some games just crash every time you try it. So you've got about a 1 in 3 shot that it will work, which is of course quite annoying. But I like it. Other than that, we have some basic options here. And we have the UE scale, which is something which I really like. Well, I don't think that you should always be able to control everything about how the user interface is working. Something like making it a bit smaller is always a good thing. Something which I also really like to see is enabling it to be a bit bigger, which is something which I miss right here, but there are worse things. So we have 2 audio dials and some major things. So not a lot of audio options, but for a point and click adventure RPG, it's good enough, to be honest. At least in my opinion. We have some details right here. Usually you find most of these under game options, but it doesn't really matter. We have some item display. And we have some controls. Now, one thing which I dislike, I mean, you can see I'm playing this game in 1080p. And I have a pretty big monitor. I mean, it's not huge, but if I had to guess right off the top of my head, I believe it's 21 or 22 inch. And seeing as it's so big and it has so many pixels, I really dislike seeing such major menus when you can fit them easily in about 2/3 of the space. I mean, I really like the fact that you can play on such a high resolution because it makes everything much sharper and you don't need to have everything this big. So, while I have my new resolution, I really miss a bit smaller menu than this. I mean, it really comes right at you, which I don't really like. So, we'll be starting a new game. We have 4 classes right off the bat. We have the majorly insane warrior type, which is the berserker. To be honest, there are a lot of normal classes in most RPGs, and especially MMORPGs. And to be honest, if I I don't really see the normal ones in this game. I mean, he is a warrior, that's sure, but if I can read this correctly, then he is also a bit of a warden or a shaman, or druid, depending on the game which you play, because he has beast magic, which of course helps him fight, but still. And because of the fist, the knuckle things, you would think he's a bit of a monk-like, because warriors usually use swords, maces, and that kind of stuff. Then we have an Ember Mage, which actually is a major, quite a normal mage as far as I can see in this bit. I haven't played this game before, so I have no idea. Then we have the Outlander, which is quite a bit more advanced than a normal ranger, because yeah, he's ranged and he uses some magic, so I would compare him a bit with a ranger class. But he uses guns, which is usually something an engineer would do. And then we have the engineer with his major range. And apparently they can use stuff to increase everything else and keep it working, but I have no idea how that works. So we have a few options with customization. By the way, I will be choosing Outlander for now, because well, none of the classes really speak to me, but I like ranged a lot. So we have 5 faces, but I'll just use number 5. We have 4 hairstyles, but I like the bandana a bit, so I'll be keeping this. And we have 14 hair colors. And I'll be choosing this one. Now, I only looked a bit about the game before now. I mean, I started to record this episode, and sadly enough, I forgot my Windows updates. So, while I still had the footage, I always shoot my footage and my I shoot my footage and my comments at the same time, but I use 2 different programs, so I have 2 tracks of music, so I can enhance my voice a bit and turn down the game music a bit, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to understand me at all. I know my English isn't the best, and that would make it a lot worse, so I started to play the intro a bit. And I'm afraid I lost, well, not my gameplay footage and my the footage with the game music, but I lost everything which I told, all my comments, and I don't really like that. So I had to redo everything. So like I said, I really liked the weasel. At least the ferret, I mean. I think the goggles are a bit fun and stuff, but we'll see. Now I'm going to be quiet for a little bit, because we'll get our intro cinematic. Oh, after the difficulty setting. One of the things I want to say is, I heard a lot of discussion on the internet the last few weeks about Torchlight 2 versus Diablo 3. And, well, I own Diablo 3. I haven't played this one yet. And I see everyone is taking a stance. They are either bashing the Diablo or they're bashing Torchlight. And to be honest, I think they're both good. Well, probably be both good games in their own aspect. But one thing I really like about this one is that you can choose the difficulty setting which you start in. I'll be going normal because otherwise it will be a bit too easy in my opinion. We can't play on internet or LAN, so we'll start single player and have fun with the opening cinematics.
Deep beneath Torchlight, a darkness gathered. 3 heroes confronted the beast called Ordrak. Yet even in death, Ordrak's corrupted heart endured and called out. Heroes may fall, hope may fade, but new heroes will rise.
Now, well, I must say that normally I really like high quality CGI movies and games. Sometimes, like in this case, it is also good to have a cartoony feeling about it. I mean, the game itself is a bit cartoony, and having into a movie like that really fits right into it, in my opinion. So we'll be playing a bit around with guns. This little thing is the action which my left mouse button will do, and this one will be able to be used by my right mouse button.
I think this is as far as I can go.
So, let's get started. When I use shift, I can limit myself to my location, which of course is a good thing if you're trying to shoot things. Well, at least if they're moving. Because if you miss, then you keep walking and you keep missing everything you shoot, so it's quite useful to just be able to stop and do something like this. So, to be honest, I believe I'm going quite in the right, not quite in the right direction. But that isn't really so bad. Because of course we will get a lot of loot, and some experience, which is also a good thing. So let's see what the stuff is we got. We got ourselves a nice little crossbow. We got ourselves a new wing. By the way, I noticed that if you haven't got anything equipped in a slot and you find something, then it will then I find that it will automatically equip. So we have 2 equipment slots. And I have no idea how to switch between them, so let's look that up for a second. Okay, so weapon swap is W. So if I use W, I have guns, and otherwise we'll have a nice crossbow. Of course you can see I have quite a lot of range with this. And with pistols I have a smaller range, but of course I have a bit more DPS because I have 2 weapons. So, well, normally you would find such a game that each class focuses on one stat as its main and one secondary stat, and other than that it will just be a bit of this and a bit of that, but nothing much. So I'll be checking mainly my dexterity and my strength, because dex is of course my main stat. But strength will increase the weapon damage, which is also a good thing to have. And of course focus and vitality, while not the most... Well, focus is not the most useful thing, but it gives me some extra MP, so I can attack a bit more before I need to use a potion. And vitality gives me some extra armor and stuff, so... And some health, which is always a good thing to have. So let's get back on the road and see if we can find anything useful over here. As you can see with the crossbow, I can shoot quite far, to be honest. Which of course is a good thing. Because if they can't get to you, then they can't hurt you. Unless they're ranged. But then I can hurt them before they start hurting me. So I help this guy out for now. One thing which I now notice is that these rewards are not exactly the same that I got last time. I only played a small bit further than this, so I didn't notice a lot of the game, but one thing I noticed is that last time I got to choose between a pistol, a short bow, and this medallion. So I'm not quite sure why, but I'm guessing it will be a good thing. So of course also my pet can get some equipment. Not a lot, but enough to make a bit of a difference. So apparently we managed to find quite a lot of enemies right around here. But then again we managed to distract them by taking a little detour. So I noticed that you can do everything the hard way or the easy way, because first time I just walked right through the middle and everything came at me at once, and now that I don't use the same walkway, I noticed that it's a lot easier. So let's check this one out. So I must say this is a really fun thing to see. A hand cannon, which you can use. Not... well, let's just see how well it holds up. Because, to be honest, I have no clue. Of course, it's not really... it has a really small range. So I don't really like it, to be honest, but there are worse things to have. Of course, we also have this one, so we can do melee, but not right now. I chose to not go melee, and I'll stick to that for now. So I must say that my pet does quite a lot of damage. Usually you really have to do everything yourself, and your pet is just something which can distract an enemy, maybe two. But I must say, even at these low levels, the pet is really making a big difference. I mean, it can just kill stuff. Which, like I said, is quite unique among most games with pets in them. So let's explore this a bit more. Always good to get some stuff. So let's see if we can find everything which is in here, so that we can, of course, so that we can move on, but that we have as much as possible. So we find some slottable stuff, and if you put it into slottable items, then you can get some extra stats. In this case we got 8 extra fire armor, which I guess is a good thing if you find anything like elementals. And as I can see right now, I forgot to use my level up stuff. So apparently I also get a skill every level, which is quite nice to have. But let's see what we can do with this. So apparently this is a bit melee-ish, as far as I can see so far. This is really ranged, and this is some random bits of stuff. So let's unlock at least one glaive throw. Now let's do 2. So we've put 2 skill points in here, and it should be able to do a lot more damage, but we'll see in the future. First of all, let's complete the mission now.
I thank you for your warning, but it has arrived too late. This alchemist has already come and gone, and it was all I could do to prevent him from entering the Enclave. As it was, many Estalians were injured, and since the confrontation, several more have become ill. We are not sure what is causing it. After his assault failed here, the alchemist carried on southward toward the temple steps. Commander Vale and her vanquishers arrived a short while later and pursued him, hoping to prevent further damage.
Of course you can see how much gold XP you get from the quest, and of course you can choose some rewards.
Commander Vale believes that the alchemist might attack the Wellspring Temple in an attempt to reach the Guardian of Water.
You have a new quest.
And of course we get the new quest at once.
State your business. You have a new quest.
So let's see what we can do with this. Apparently we can use fishing to get some stuff, and use the stuff to get something which will change my animal into something else. But let's just see if we can find anything else which might be fun. Must say it's a bit of a strange system. But it seems to be working. So we got 2 sets of boots, and one of them is unidentified. I can wait until level 5 and get it automatically, or I can use an identify scroll to check it out. So most items have 2 different requirements. You can either get to the required level or get your stats high enough, and in this case I don't have either of them, but this is quite a good armor, so I'll keep it for now. Of course this weapon is something for next level. I am level 3 at the moment, so next level I will be able to use it. And that's about all which we have. We have this thing. I don't know what exactly it will do to my pet, but it might just be fun to use it. So we'll check out in an instant if it will be something useful. So now we have 2, so we can expand one. Let's just
How may I help you?
sell the stuff which I don't want. I'm guessing we can buy a lot of... Most of this is quite unuseful to me. Either because I can't equip it or because it's not really that interesting, but who knows? So, at this moment I'm really asking myself, well, I don't mind playing around a bit. I'm quite asking myself, how long is this demo going to take? Because if it's anything like the beta of Diablo, then we will get a lot of content, which means, well, I don't know if some of you have played in the beta, but in the beta you could play Act 1 until the Skeleton King. And that was almost halfway through the first act, and well, you could do it in a few hours. It still took quite some time. And well, I don't mind giving you something to look at. I think playing a demo for a few hours would be a bit much for one episode. So, as you can see, alright, so I get some as long as I'm in combat I get some extra bonuses, as long as I keep doing damage. As you can see, my pet has transformed into something a bit bigger because of the tunnel shark, which is quite fun to see. And if I'm right, we will be able to equip our new bow, which will do quite a lot more damage. So as I was saying, well, I don't mind playing a bit round. It would be a bit of a shame to play for hours on end just to show you a bit of a game. But yeah, at this moment I don't have any idea how long this demo is taking. So we'll just see about that in a bit. But I must say, until now, I really like the things that I've seen. Of course, most of these are a bit basic, but when aren't they in these kind of games? So let's see, we got ourselves a shield, which is of course not usable by our dear pet. Well, we got nothing really for him, but can't be helped. Of course I got another level, so let's just add up this a bit. And I'll have to choose a skill. I will not be able to use Glaive Throw again until level 6. So let's just choose Dodge Mastery, which gives me some extra dodge chance. Something which I really like, by the way. Seeing as you can see, I have 9% dodge chance, so 1 in every 10 attacks should fail, which greatly increases my chances, of course. So one of the good things about playing a range class is that I'm able to get to ranged enemies, and I noticed in other games. I can't quite get a hold on which ones they were again, but sometimes you just get swamped with low level minions who are only a bit of a nuisance, but there are so many that you can't get through them. And if you're playing a melee class, it will be so much to handle. Well, you might just have a ranged unit standing in the back, one which is not a nuisance but a real threat, and you won't be able to do anything about it because you're being kept busy by the minions.
You have received a quest.
So we just picked up an extra quest in here. So you have the main quests, of course, which will follow the storyline. And we have some side quests, which of course shouldn't be too much trouble to do, but if you do them all, I'm guessing it will take quite a bit of extra playtime to get to the end. Never a bad thing. I mean, I like the fact that you can choose to do stuff like that. You're not forced. Of course, mimics are as old in role-playing games as I can remember, and of course they always look exactly like chests. But they have teeth or something alike. So let's just change a bit of equipment. I mean, we've gotten some new stuff, so why shouldn't we? Of course, most of this stuff doesn't really matter if we equip it or not, but it doesn't change a lot. I mean, the pants are exactly the same, only this one has an empty socket, which of course means that it will be able to upgrade a bit. And while 5 fire armor is better than 3 ice armor, as long as you don't find any ice enemies, I really like the 35 extra health, so that's quite an upgrade. So apparently that was meant to be a trap, and I must say that was quite a good one. But of course you also have quick hotkeys for stuff like potions. So let's see. So now we'll have one really good long range weapon and one really good short range weapon. I'm guessing that in this context the short range will be a bit better, because we really can't reach that far. And because we have 2 weapons, I believe our DPS will be a bit higher. So like you can see, as long as I got only my 2 pistols, I can shoot a bit faster. But when we fight at range, then it might just be better to change it up a bit. Well, apparently we got ourselves a bit of a boss in here. And he is swift, so he's quite annoying to outrun. I mean, I can get why they would make a great boss, but it's also quite annoying. Because you can do anything to just pull it along a bit. So as you can see, my combat bonus has gotten quite high by now.
You have become more skilled.
And I must say it really, I believe it does quite a lot for me being able to get this one up the full 10%. I believe it, of course you do some extra damage, you got some extra speed of course, which are all good things, but I still think it's a bit of a shame that I can't get anything from the fact that I managed to fill the bar, so who knows. So let's keep to the lore skills for now. Just get some extra dodge. And at the next level, of course, we can upgrade my glaive thrower a bit. And we can, of course, still increase all my talents again. So, traps are not a good thing, of course, but there are worse things to have. We have another unidentified thing, but it will identify itself at level 6, so we'll just keep it for now. So let's move onwards. So let's see if we can find the skull. I must say I'm quite impressed with how much I'm doing right here. Because for the first side quest, which involves going into here, it gives you quite a lot to do. So let's try to do something else. Let's check some stuff which I don't want to keep. And let's see how long this is going to take. So this is a feature which I know Diablo 3 also has. And I really like it, because one thing which is annoying, I believe it was Diablo 3 at least. One thing which is really annoying is when you get a full inventory and you can't do anything. And that is of course a really bad thing to have. Because a full inventory means not being able to pick up new stuff, which of course means less money, And less money means less improvement to yourself. So let's see if we manage to improve. Yes. So let's see. So I believe we're nearly at the end of the dungeon. But like I said, I already think that it took quite a while for one of the first side dungeons to be able to finish it, so oh boy. So here we have our fallen guardian, and I'm guessing that he does mostly frost damage. Which of course we got from the fact that everything here uses freezing and stuff like that, so I mean, it's a bit of a dead giveaway. Oh boy. And I believe he wasn't the only boss around here. Or at least not the only elite. I must say, quite a lot of enemies around here. Quite a challenge. Because, of course, you can't outright face them. You need to have a melee character which can tank to be able to do that, but nonetheless, it should be doable. So let's see. And now I've gotten some good stuff from just that, but might just look at it. So apparently it wasn't that good. I mean, it's not bad, but nothing which I can really use, so I must say there really are a lot of enemies in here, even though I defeated the boss. Might have to do something with this bit right here. But who knows. So that was one of the first side dungeons which we completed. And this is a really nice piece, to be honest. I mean, 41 health, 8 electric armor. And that's not even considering the other armor which we get. So really nice to get that one. Also, of course, nice is a chest at the end of the dungeon. Of course this one also will be able to be put to the side. Because, of course, why would we identify something which will probably identify itself after this quest?
My thanks.
Well, didn't expect it to take this many levels to be able to use anything from them. So, let's just use something for my pet.
You have gained an experience.
Of course, he can use two attacks. So, why not use them? So we just got to level 6. Identified everything of this. Of course, one of the things which I noticed is that if it identifies at level 6, it usually takes until level 9 or something to be able to use it. So, unless you have the right stats, of course, but... And in consideration of the long length of the video, I have decided to continue this one next week in part 2. See you till then.